For as long as we can remember, society has tried to pigeonhole us into one of two categories. We are told that the world is surgically divided between two types of people. On one side, there are the daydreamers, the idealists, the optimists, those who spend their days floating on clouds of possibilities. On the other side, there are those with their feet firmly planted on the ground, the logical, the pragmatic, those who look at the world with a cold, calculating maturity. They constantly repeat that you must choose a side. Either you are an illusionist trapped in your own fantasies of success, or you are a realist resigned to accepting the rules of the game exactly as they are written. They drag you into that decision as if it were an absolute truth, but the reality of daily life is much harsher. What if I told you that choosing one of these two sides is, in fact, the fastest and quietest way to sabotage your biggest goals? Today, we are going to break that false dichotomy. We are going to dismantle the two lies we've been told. Let's begin by analyzing the first journal, the journal of illusion. Illusion is beautiful. It is the original fuel of any human project. It is that electric energy that hits you at 2 a.m. and makes you design $1 million business in your mind before going to sleep, or makes you visualize the body of your dreams, or the impact of a project that changes lives. Illusion gifts us free, cheap doses of dopamine. It makes us feel good instantly. But pure illusion hides a deadly psychological trap that science has already managed to track. Dr. Gabriele Oettingen, a professor of psychology at New York University, spent over 20 years studying the impact of positive thinking. What she discovered in her experiments shook the world of personal development. People who only visualize their goals in an idyllic way are less likely to achieve them. Why? Because when you over-fantasize, your brain experiences a translation error. By flooding itself with dopamine, the brain relaxes the body and lowers blood pressure, assuming that you have already won. It confuses desire with progress. You feel highly productive just by imagining what you are going to achieve, while in the real world, your reality hasn't changed a single millimeter. Illusion without action is nothing more than an emotional anesthetic to avoid the pain of your present. So, one day we get tired of stumbling, we dread being seen as naive or immature, and we decide to move completely to the opposite extreme. We become realists. We put on the mask of logic and maturity. We start looking at the numbers, our current circumstances, the exhaustion accumulated after a long workday, and we declare, we have to be realistic. Things are tough, and it is what it is. Pure realism sells itself as a protective shield. It promises you that if you expect nothing, you will never be disappointed. And it's true, realism protects you from the fall, but it does so by suffocating you. This connects directly to the psychological concept of learned helplessness, coined by psychologist Martin Seligman. When you focus chronically and strictly on the actual obstacles in your environment, your mind mistakenly concludes that you have zero control over the outcome. Strict realism has that factory defect. It is incapable of creating anything new because it assumes that current rules are immutable. Realism can only analyze, manage, and replicate what already exists. If the great inventors, artists, or entrepreneurs in history had been purely realistic, they would have never taken the first step, because the statistical odds were always against them. Realism is an excellent manager for your life, but it is a terrible architect for your dreams. This is where the true shift in perspective happens. People who manage to transform their reality on a day-to-day basis, those who build consistent goals, do not choose between illusion and realism. Don't make that mistake. What they consciously practice is a high-effectiveness mental strategy backed by neuroscience, mental contrasting. To keep motivation high in your daily routine without losing your way, you need to learn to fragment your mind and use both concepts at completely different times of your day. You have to understand that illusion has only one purpose: deciding where you are going. When you sit down to plan the future, to design your long-term goals, be an absolute illusionist. Don't set limits. Don't calculate the money you lack. Don't listen to the "it can't be done." Allow yourself the luxury of fantasy. This is the phase where you activate your vision. But here is the secret to success, backed by the famous WHOOP strategy: wish, outcome, obstacle plan, developed by behavioral scientists. Immediately after defining that big wish, the illusion, you must deliberately bring to mind the most realistic obstacle standing in your way today. That is why, as soon as you open your eyes in the morning to start your day, you lock the illusion away in a drawer and you pull out the most ruthless realism to decide what you are going to do today. Today, you are not going to build the entire empire. Today, you are going to sit down for 45 minutes to write, or you are going to make that uncomfortable call, or you are going to organize your workspace. That's it. In the day-to-day, illusion steps aside to let realism get its hands dirty in the mud of execution. Scientifically, by contrasting your big dream with your current reality, your brain generates the physical energy and focus necessary to act instead of falling asleep inside the fantasy. Starting today, I invite you to make this strategic shift in your routine. Deliberately divide your mind. When you look at your week or your month on the calendar, adopt the stance of a visionary. Dream big, seek the ideal scenario, connect with the why behind your efforts. But when you look down at your to-do list this afternoon, become a cold, realistic executor. Maturely accept your time limits, your current energy level, and your resources, and execute that small task with surgical precision. Break the harmful illusion that you will see results tomorrow morning, but keep intact the illusion that every single small step is bringing you closer to your final destination. Do not allow the realism of the routine to make you cynical and dull, nor let unbridled illusion turn you into someone lazy who only lives off fantasies. Learn the art of walking with your feet firmly on the ground while keeping your eyes fixed on the stars. At the end of the day, transforming your reality doesn't depend on changing what is around you, but on restructuring the way you choose to look at it. If this video helped you break an old mental structure and you want to keep questioning the way you see the world, subscribe to Reframed Perspective. Becoming part of this community is the first step to training your mind. Think different. See different. See you in the next video.